Okay, so now picking up where I left off with the main answer uh, to how a diameter of space-time created all life. Well, from symmetries. Okay, so start with static space, which is like dead or like minimal life, to space, which is like a lot, which is a symmetry, beginning origin symmetry. Then it went to the opposite symmetry where a diameter of space-time occurred and created life, which is the opposite symmetry. Now, what I figured out further is a directional in that. A directional adds dimension, like this. This is like the diameter, but then it's like this, like the planet, like planets and stars and suns and moons. The funny thing is, what I figured out so far about the directional is that it's something of something complicated about it shows you where life is, but who or what, not alien power or anything or some kind of. I'm not leaving out forces yet. Forces I did leave out so far, but forces are in this, like God and stuff. God might be more than just forces too. What I'm going to say in this one is like something like this: the Earth, the planet, shows you things like this, and she has more to her, and that's what I want to talk about now. The directional like this, and then like this. So the first directional is like this, and the next directional is like this. What is that? Well, ask her. She shows you where we are in the universe. No, what she is. She shows you what she is. Well, I'll explain it to you like this. It's like this and like this at the same time, like this, with a piece of bread here, because this helps you. But what this is the wave, and what this is the undertow at the same time. But what I'm going to explain about it is complicated. What I'm going to explain is this. It explains Einstein's story in a way in my fictional account about how you can be in many places on Earth, diversified, and it solves it because of this. Because that's where we are, which is like a jam. The nanotoad shows the consensus of what you should be doing, and your wave shows like what you like to do and how you carry out your affairs. Now check this out. It's complicated. It also shows life and death, because what happens though in this is like you can be 8 different places right now. Know that you've traveled to. You can be existent there too, or same place where you exist now. But it solves like something that I was talking about like omniplanes, which is like a song of mine. But it solves like omniplanes, which is about the Earth. If she's an omniplane, it solves what? Not necessarily an omniplane though, yet. What the Earth shows you in the directional is where life is. Well, that's great, because I like to know. Look, what life, it's complicated. There's a song by the Beatles called Tomorrow Never Knows. It's kind of like that song a little bit. But it's complicated. The way Harrison plays guitar, like moving simultaneously forward and backward. It's a complicated thing, because you're moving forward and backward throughout the Earth's experience, your experience on Earth. And it's complicated, so I'm going to get to the point. There's a movie, well, there's a video called Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses. Now, you should know that. If you're younger, you should look it up. Now, Don't Cry explains something complicated about life and death. Watch it. But how I explain it is you can be at that situation that which is not the best situation, but that can happen on the planet. What happened in Don't Cry about life and death. It can actually happen without technology either. Just how the planet is, that's where we are. I call it a jam, like a jam. We're all here in a jam. That's enough to further orient. Everyone's in a jam, all different jams. That's what makes it fascinating why we're all here. I don't want to get into how we got here though, because that's not necessarily the point yet, what I want to say. But in this one, I want to say this. The directional goes like this. See, how I thought of it prior was that if you could measure something before measuring it, that would mean in translation that you can create planets and anything else if you're a supreme like that. What that means in English is something like you can just create anything. You can create anything, but except for time. Time is the caveat there, because time, if you created your own time, it wouldn't work for you. It wouldn't be conscious for you. That's a sidebar in this, which then would frustrate you terribly. You'd have to be in space-time. Another problem is this. When you're on a planet like this, and there's the moon too, which is another diameter of space-time, and the sun too, and neighboring stars. It all adds to the fun and games. But I'll tell you one thing: when you're on a planet like this, and it goes both ways, forward, backward, undertow-wise, death, life, death, that's the kind of jam that you're always looking at. You're always looking at that kind of jam. The funny thing about what I said is the undertow hand, is what feeds you, puts food on your table, which is the general consensus of what you really should be doing. But not necessarily truthful, because I'll tell you why. Since we're all in a jam, it makes sense that we just have to just do what we have to do eventually. And every planet has a unique characteristic, is what I'm saying. And this one is like that. It's like a jam.